Nasdaq 100, and we're on the weekly chart. Before we get into the actual technical analysis of Nasdaq 100, I just thought I should remind you guys that the next coming week will be a very tricky trading week, and that is because we're at the end of the year, and a lot of people, or rather a lot of traders and investors, will be taking holiday and coming back in the new year. And because of that, also there will be a lot of choppiness and a lot of stop hunts within the markets, and that is because liquidity will be low. And in my very, very humble opinion, I would say that in the next week we need to be very careful. And in fact, the best thing to do is not to trade at all and to rather wait for the markets to open up in the new year and come back then, right? But for you guys who are looking forward to trading the next week, let's have a look at Nasdaq 100 quickly. And as I said, we are on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, guys, remember, price at this point in time is close to the previous all-time high, right? And I know that at this point, a lot of traders and investors will be looking for potential sell opportunities. Why do I say so? That is because, guys, remember, if I can just zoom out, right? If I can just zoom out, we can see that the market is in the process of possibly giving us a potential M formation or double top. And at this point, we may potentially see the market move further down. But just to zoom in again, guys, I think we need to be very careful, and the reason why I say so is because if you were to pay attention to this area over here, you would see that the market had given us a very nice double top, right? And you guys know that whenever we have these double tops, what happens quite a lot is that a lot of traders and investors sell on the second leg and they place their stop losses just above, right? So I know that people are waiting for price to just test this level and then push further down. But what may possibly happen is that due to the fact that we have this M structure or double top and the fact that we have a lot of stop losses here, we may potentially see the market actually move further up to trigger all of those stop losses that are located here and then only move further down. So guys, we need to be careful, right? And remember that resistance and support, or support and resistance, are not lines, right? Like I have here, right? That's a very strong level of resistance. Nonetheless, support and resistance are not lines, right? So in other words, we could say that this entire area over here is our resistance area, and price may move to that level, trigger all of those stop losses, and then only move further down. So just be careful. Anyway, let's just zoom in and see what else is happening in regards to the weekly chart. Let's have a look, guys. What else do we see? At this point, I don't see much. I'm just gonna head down to the daily chart. Just bear with me. And here we are on the daily chart. And remember, guys, as much as I'm saying that at this point over here, right, we may potentially look for sell opportunities. We are in an upward trending market, or an upward trajectory after all, and for the most part we should be looking for potential buy opportunities. But let's just zoom in and see what else is happening on the daily chart. Just bear with me, guys. And on the daily chart, you would see that in fact on the weekly chart we had this overextended W structure. It is an overextended W structure or double bottom because that first leg is much higher than the second leg, and it has a neckline at that point, right? So should we find any sell opportunities in and around this area over here, I would say that our first take profit should be that level where we have the neckline of this overextended W structure. Why do I say that level? That is because it is also very much a strong level of support, as you guys can see, and that is because we've had multiple rejections in and around that area. And as I said, it is a good spot to potentially look for um, take profit, right, at this level, right? Anyway, what else do we see, guys, in regards to the daily chart? At this point, I don't see much really, guys, but I also want to point out that if we were to actually pay attention to that resistance area at the top, you would see that price hasn't quite gotten to that level, right? And it is also quite possible that we may see the market actually move further up to at least test the line and then move further down, or even move further up, as I said, to grab all of those stop losses and then potentially move further down, right? Anyway, another thing I also want to point out, excuse me, is that we have this candlestick, and it is, as you guys know, a bearish candlestick with a small body and quite a long lower wick. And you also know that it is carrying a lot of liquidity, and it's a sign that we may potentially start to see the market move further down because we have a lot of money stuck at that level more or less, right? Anyway, at this point I don't really see much. Let's head down to the daily chart, or rather the H4 chart, and see what's happening there. And here we are on the H4 chart. And just to recap, guys, let me just zoom out a bit. Just to recap, remember we spoke about how the market on the bigger time frames had given us this huge W structure or double bottom, and it has a neckline at that point. And we also said that should we find any good buy or rather sell opportunities at that point, our first take profit should be around this level over here, right? But now that we are on the H4 chart, we can also see that we have this level as well. It is also a very strong level of support, and as much as I'm saying that at this point should we find any good entries and that our take profit should be this level, it is also quite possible that the market may push only to this level because it is a very strong level of support, and at this level we may again see the market move further up. In fact, I'm just gonna add just bear with me, I'm just gonna add a line or an area of support at this zone over here. And just remember that support and resistance, as I said, guys, is or rather are not lines, they are areas, right? They are not lines, they are areas. And here we are on the H4 chart. On the H4 chart, we can see also that we are in an upward trending market. In fact, I'm just going to add my H4 channel as well. So just bear with me. Let's have a look. H4 channel. How would I add it? I would add my H4 channel more or less in this manner at this point in time. And just remember, guys, that we just need to ensure that the drawings that we do add to our charts are as accurate as can be, right? So that ultimately when we do make our entries are also as accurate, right? And there we go. And in regards to the H4 chart, we can see that we are in an upward trending market as well. But something very interesting is happening in regards to the H4 chart, right? Before I point that out, just remember, as I said, guys, that price hasn't quite reached that point, and we may, as I said, see the market move further up to at least reach that point or test it and then potentially move further down, right? But as I said, something very interesting has happened, and that is that the market has given us what seems to be an overextended double top there, which has a neckline at that point, right? And what this means is that, remember, guys, I said whenever we have these, what happens quite a lot is that a lot of traders and investors sell on the M structure, or rather on the second leg of that M structure, and they place their stop losses just above. So we have a lot of stop losses once again sitting in and around this area, and it is also quite possible that this M structure over here is a trap, right? It is a trap to induce traders and investors to actually sell, right? And in the next week we may potentially see the market actually from where it is, just bear with me, in the next week we may see the market actually from where it is after forming this M structure push further up to stop hunt all of those who entered on the second leg of this M structure, and also push further up to grab the stop losses that I spoke about due to that M structure that we have more on this side on the bigger time frames, and then only move further down. So we just need to be careful, right? We need to be careful. Myself personally, in order to sell, I'd rather wait for price, right, to to break the neckline of this M structure, as well as to break this channel. Once that happens, I would then again wait for the market to head up to that level to give it a test again. And if the neckline, which would then be a very strong level of resistance, aligns with any key numbers that we have in regards to the Fibonacci retracement tool, I would then look for potential sell opportunities at this point. And should I find any, my first take profit would be around this level over here, which is a very strong level of support. And my second take profit would be this level over here, right? And that is because, guys, remember this level is the neckline of that huge W structure that we spoke about on the weekly chart, right? But as things stand at this point in time, I don't see any buy or sell opportunities for that matter, right? um yeah, I don't see any buy or sell opportunities for that matter. But the most important thing at this point is the fact that the market has given us this double top, right? And I believe that it is possibly a trap because people sold here and place their stop losses just above. And to add to this, we also know that we have a lot of stop losses located here because we also have another bigger M structure on this side on the bigger time frames. And I said that a lot of people or rather a lot of traders and investors actually put their stop losses just above. And so in the next week or early in the new year, we may potentially see the market, move further up to grab all of those stop losses and then only potentially move further down, right? Also, guys, remember, as I said, it's going to be quite a tricky week in the next week, because people are going on holiday, and the markets are going to be choppy, and they will stop hunt a lot, right? But as I said, in as far as buying or selling at this point, I don't see any opportunities.